Nice. So, Corey, let's jump to our next segment, which is drum roll. I'm trying to think. Is there any
Let's
news?
let's go into the news. I was just gonna say,
Yep.
let's go into the news. We've got a hot one today. Michael, can you pull this up for us? The sunsetting of eCPC, enhanced
Oh,
CPC. A bit of a tragedy. I'm not using it in a ton of my accounts, but I think it's still worth covering. And I think obviously there is a piece to be said about what this means and how it continues to play into the journey of where Google wants this all to go eventually.
definitely. I was chatting to the team about this week. It's very interesting about just these little things that have been there through the whole journey,
Yep,
and
been
now
there a long time.
now they're not.
Yeah,
So basically, the summary is everyone enhanced CPC, which is basically a way that allows Google to bid more on manual CPC. Usually, manual CPC is a price top, like the absolute top you're willing to pay. By turning on this setting, it allows Google to bid a little bit higher. Usually, about is it about 20%, Corey?
yeah,
Bit
20,
higher, not
30,
crazy
something like
higher,
that.
on the actual maximum CPC if they believe there's data to indicate that this person is willing to buy. Like there's a high conversion intent. So it's kind of like one step closer towards the maximized conversion or target CPA type of mentality.
Yeah.
And yeah, did you want to chat about this?
I was
I'm
just
happy
gonna
to
say,
give
yeah.
my thoughts.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I always thought it was ahead of its time because I almost saw we were gonna get a better version of enhanced CPC where it is
Yeah,
this nice middle ground of like manual control, or at least limitations, boundaries within the automation, but then allowing the opportunity for the automation to do what it does best, which is to recognize opportunities based on data points that I can't see and that I don't have. That's
yeah,
awesome. That sounds very futuristic. And it sounds like what we all kind of want is that nice middle ground where we're both doing the best at what we do. But in this case, Google has decided to sunset it, and you're going back to either just manual CPC or a fully automated bid strategy.
yeah. This was when I reflect on it, I'm like, this might have been Google's first smart bidding or algorithmic kind of like play because this was around 7 years ago. This has been around like a long time,
Yeah.
like a long, long time. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's probably like when I look back at all the advancements that happened, especially over maybe the last 5 years, 6 years, this was like the first one that was trying to do anything beyond like manual CPC, just trying to add like a little bit of salt and pepper or spice on top with a bit of like algorithm before. Yeah, this it's so it's interesting this is going because I still use it, especially at the start of campaigns when we're launching and I just want to have maximum control over the maximum CPC and then things are looking good. So once we're getting results, I'll put the enhanced CPC on just to see get a bit more and then move it over to maximize conversion. So
Exactly.
it was a bridging stone for me. Like it was
Yep.
like kind of like step 1.5, right? Like step one was
Yes.
like manual CPC, 1.5 was enhanced CPC, step two was target CPA after I
Mm-hmm.
was confident in the quality of the leads, the volume of the leads, and the cost per leads.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yeah, it's strange because once again, something else is being pruned away from our Google world. And we just got to think about what's the long term impact of this. Like a lot of people might be like, yeah, I don't use it, but is this just the last stand before manual's gone? Because I think manual CPCs is like the last manual thing that's remain like it is. Like all the other bidding
No,
models.
I think that's the same thing. Argument against them sunsetting standard shopping is there is a large group of large advertisers, and by large
Yeah.
I mean high spend, that require certain brand protections and certain
Yes.
levels of things. And Google does not want to lose that revenue, so they're
Yeah.
keeping those things around. I think this is just a way that they go, well, we could take this out, but still can't take the full
Yeah.
manual. Think this is just a step towards that, but I don't see that happening anytime soon because those are some large revenue streams for Google.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's really even in those cases, like the legalities of it, like the negative keywords and the keywords, is there's a lot of industries in the world, like in the last segment, we are talking about like finance or medical, where you just cannot have algorithms just spitting out stuff. You need to have humans quality checking it and also humans being blamed for it because Google does not want to take that blame of like random AI written copy about people looking for healing centers or, high return investments, and then just something randomly spits out because it scrapes it accidentally from a page. So I find this, there are always consequences when things are being taken away. The reality is Google started off as an extremely like fully manual channel, and they're trying to like move to a almost automated channel where Facebook never really had that manual. Like there's still manual parts to Facebook, but there was always a high part of it being driven by algorithms
Yeah.
and data. So Google never started off with that. So that's why Facebook can always pivot towards more of their things, because like basically they started that way. Google
Yep.
didn't. And there's a lot of people and advertisers who are old school advertisers. Most people are still old school advertisers. There are not many new Google Ads people. Like, I don't think there are that many new Google Ads people in the world. I feel like a lot of the ads people I know of and know consistently are still old school people. I feel like a
We
lot
need
of
to.
new people are going towards Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat and all these other newer
Mhm.
channels, or more strategy rather than boring old Google.
Yeah, that would be an interesting poll. Like, include that in
Yeah.
the next yearly review. Yeah, that would be interesting to see how many people just started within the last year versus the last
Yeah.
3 years. I think Dwayne of shoot, I'm blanking on his company. Sorry, Dwayne, but he has a poll on Reddit, I believe, that kind of gives like, salaries and stuff like that. It might give a rough
Yeah.
idea of years of experience. But another take I just want to add to this is where do we go from here, right? Let's say you rely on this heavily and you're kind of panicking because a lot of your accounts lean on this. That could be you're an agency that mostly uses this for accounts that are lower conversion volume, and you've just found over the years that the target CPA is a target ROAS, the max conversions without the max conversion values without any settings or any caps. Those just tend not to work well for you, and you think it's because there's not enough click and or conversion volume in the account for Google to do a good enough job. And you've just found that eCPC, enhanced CPC, is the perfect middle ground. It can bid a little bit more. It knows something you don't, and therefore it can bid a little bit higher than you manually setting bids because it's doing that in real time, right? Now, let's say you run into this problem now where you don't have this option. I would say the next logical step would be one of two things. One's the basic one is the more advanced one. Me, Michael, I'm always going to give the advanced people a little extra bonus tip here.
Yes.
So, the basic thing, it's a little bit risky, but I think it's the closest you're going to get to eCPC is going to be a target return on ad spend with a max and or minimum CPC, right?
Yep.
So you can set that with portfolio bidding strategies. I'm old now. I don't even know if that's what they call them anymore, but I think it's still portfolio bidding strategies
Yeah,
is
I
what
think
they
it is.
call it.
Do you use
Um,
that much, by the way? That's the
yeah.
practicality. Do you use it
Oh yeah.
much?
Absolutely.
Often?
Yep. Especially for like standard shopping campaigns. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yep. So I think that's a good, you can do a quick spreadsheet, try to figure out, roughly speaking, if you're not really advanced with data analysis, you can't work with code, whatever. You could do a spreadsheet, try to figure out where are those points of diminishing returns, roughly speaking, where you could do a scatter plot for this, and just try to figure out, at what point of cost per clicks do I start seeing less conversions or about the same conversions, right? So you can plot this out and just try to figure out, okay, over a large sample size of, let's say, daily data or something, or weekly if you want to smooth the outliers. If you can get rid of the outliers, again, getting a little bit more advanced, that'd be even better. But roughly speaking, on a given day, a given week, given month, where are those CPC averages that we don't find that as those CPCs are going up, conversions are going up either at the same pace or a lot more or at all? In that case, you might start your target return on ad spend with those max CPCs bid limits on around that level. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether it needs to be exactly that level or not because nothing is perfect in this. Just get somewhere around that number. It's a good way to start. If we want to be a little bit more conservative, obviously bring it down a little bit. If we want to be a little bit more aggressive, give that target return ad spend a little more room, be a little bit more aggressive, obviously bring it up a little bit. It's totally up to you. It's dependent on your own situation. If you're more advanced, do a polynomial regression analysis, figure out where those points of diminishing returns are. It's very similar to the scatter plot. It's basically what you're going to be looking at, but you're going to run and apply an appropriate regression model, whether that's using a lasso method or a ridge method or whatever, and you're going to figure out where is mathematically that point of diminished returns, whereas CPCs go up. amount of conversions, maybe it's conversion volume, maybe it's your value per clicks start diminishing, and then you can know that you're going to set that as a max bid limit, or alternatively, with all of these, advanced or not, figure out where that level is and then set that for your manual CPC keywords. And it's a good start. Just know you're going to probably have to spend a little bit more time optimizing, and you're going to have to look at your bid adjustments at the segment level, your devices, your geographies, all that good stuff, because Google was taking that into account with the enhanced CPC. And if you're not doing that with your manual campaigns, make sure you're getting into that as well. Make sure you're optimizing across those segments. This is where things get more complicated, but I'll leave it with that.
Wow. Deep.
I guess
Yeah, I
so.
don't even know what to add to that. Going over this quickly, like we were just saying, I didn't actually read this. Over a decade ago, Enhanced CPC, our first smart bidding strategy. So there we go. It was their first smart bidding strategy. Was introduced. Since then, we've launched more sophisticated learning driven bid strategies like maximize conversions with optional target CPA, and then all those other things. So these strategies have potential to deliver comparable or superior outcomes
Yeah.
as we
Optimization
transition.
scores are better.
Yeah. And search and display will phase out enhanced CPC. It's by March 2025. So obviously they always do give a long window, but some people might find that's not enough.
Yeah.
If you're tracking conversions, we suggest switching to maximize conversions or maximize conversion values based on your goals. Otherwise, if you don't have conversions or value-based goals, consider using maximize clicks. And yeah, I think it's just kind of like a bit. It's just things are being taken away. Like maybe this is just evolution, Corey. Maybe we're just two old men who just want things to be like the good old days. And the reality is a lot of these smart features are powerful. Most of them are not. And most of them, even if they are powerful, they're misused.
Mm.
You can do a lot of things with a lot of powerful things, but most people, when they're given power, they misuse it or accidentally use it. So I think the reality here is they think they're making it easier. It's just for most advertisers and most businesses, it creates a lot of it just can really start to trip them up.
Yep.
So,
So I think it's a quite a loss. So RIP eCPC.
RIP. Yeah,